Here we are.
Here we are. Hello, BookTubeAthon. Well, I'm here with Ray Sterling.
You can call me Rachel.
You can call her Rachel. It's the last day of BookTubeAthon, day 7. And Rachel has agreed to collaborate with me today, which is amazing because if you know Ray Sterling, you know that she's phenomenal. Her channel is great. She loves Harry Potter. She's the most well-versed Harry Potter, right? Potterhead?
You know, people say Potterhead. I don't like that.
You don't like Potterhead?
Nah.
What's your term? Do you have your own term?
Harry Potter fan? I don't know.
Harry
I
Potter
guess
fan.
I'm just not clever.
No, that's also not true. You'll see that she's very clever. She's agreed to be on my channel today, which is awesome. We also have a video on her channel, which you should watch. Today on this channel, for BookTubeAthon Video Challenge number 7, we will be talking about books that have had meaning to us and reading experiences that have shaped who we are as human beings and readers. So, should I start? Do you want me to start?
Go ahead.
When I was, 22, something like that. I was on a subway, on a train in New York to an airport going somewhere, and I was reading The Unbearable Lightness of Being. There was a line in that book that was so poignant to me. You know that moment when you're reading a book and you read something and you think, this was written for me.
Right.
This is me, exactly. Like, they're in my head, that this is for me. And I got to a line at the end of a chapter that I felt was so perfect about my experience in my life, and it was so painful that I had to close the book.
Oh my god.
I felt so seen in that moment. Milan Kundera had been like, breathe, I see into your heart.
Your eye is just like,
you were like, ah! And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna close the book, I'm gonna put it in my backpack. You don't want to ruin that moment. It's so powerful. I didn't want to read on and be like, oh, this is good too. Just
you needed a second.
Yeah, I needed to be like,
yeah.
I'm gonna sit with this. So that was cool. It was just a reminder that a book that has been read by how many millions of people and beloved by millions of people can also speak to my little unique soul.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
So beautiful.
Okay, your turn.
turn?
Yeah,
okay,
your
so
turn.
my first story is about how in 4th grade I was finally allowed to have one day a week where I got to walk with friends to the library by ourselves.
Whoa!
And it was like this momentous achievement because my older sister, she had already gotten to 4th grade, and she and her friends got to have a library day where they walked by themselves to the library. And I remember feeling so grown up and so responsible, and I was a very responsible kid. There was no way we were going on any detours. We were allowed to stop at like the Jamba Juice and then go to the library where we were going to do
Jamba Juice and books.
And we were to do our homework first at the library, and so like it was like a test, you know, like can they be responsible for themselves and like not get distracted, and it was so much fun. I did my homework, and then we had the whole library to ourselves for like another 30 minutes before our parents came to get us.
Precious time.
And like the librarians would like wink at us, knowing that we were like adult enough to be on our own. And I'm sure my mom like had told the librarians ahead of time that her children were unattended in the library. But I just remember how important it was. And I had a library day every single week from 4th grade to 8th grade.
Wow. And that's why you're a reader today.
And that's why I'm a reader today.
At BookTubeAthon.
Ching!
I write YA. I have a book coming out next summer. And my sister, I have a YA sister. She's my first YA. She's my favorite YA. She is 17 years old. And I started writing really for her years ago. She was reading some vampire fiction that was troublesome to me in some ways regarding content. So I said, I'm gonna write you a better story. Healthy relationships and that sort of thing. Plugging Ray Sterling's recent video on BookTubeAthon Day 5. And
Power Dynamics in Romantic Relationships was the name of my class for the class reading list.
So I started working on YA books several years ago, and she was always my first reader, so I would always send her my draft. Now, often there's this sense of like, you can't have your family read. They're gonna love everything you do. Wrong. My sister, in fact, my sister is brutal. She's very honest, and she will tell me if stuff is just plain wrong and silly, asinine. I would send her the draft, and as she was reading, she would give me like a live read. And the live read would be like screen saves of my manuscript with emojis being like, what? Or WTF? Or like, I hate him. That was actually a really good sign that I was doing something wrong with my male lead. It was supposed to be like romantic and sensitive, and my sister was like, I hate him. And I was like, that's bad, actually, because that's supposed to be the romance that carries the book. My sister got me turned on to Cassandra Clare, and I actually read the prequel to the City of Bones series, which is Clockwork Angel, which I highly recommend. And my sister said, look, I love romance in a story. I love to know, are Jason Clary destined to be together? My book, I think, has more romance in it, but still healthy relationships, we hope.
What an amazing story. That I just love the idea of your sister like texting you screenshots, because what is more young adult than somebody texting you screenshots with like emojis
with emojis. And in fact, the only reason she wasn't Snapchatting me is because I can't figure out Snapchat to save my life. So she was like, oh, I'll come around to the old timers and do text message.
That's amazing.
Oh, I'll also plug her because she's an amazing singer. If I add a link to a video,
yes,
I put it
in the description
below. Okay, good. See, I'm learning. It's my first YouTube week ever. So I'll put a little link to my sister's cover where she and her friend play guitar and sing the song, and it made me weep.
Aw, that's so sweet.
Thank you. I'm biased. She's my baby sister, but she's really talented. So okay, you're up.
All right, so in the video on my channel, I told a story about reading aloud, and this is another story about reading aloud. So in college, my boyfriend and I, he's still my boyfriend, we decided that we wanted to have like a reading experience together because we're both nerds, and we picked a book that both of us had not read by an author we both liked, and we both liked Ender's Game, and so we picked an Orson Scott Card book. We picked the book Treason.
Okay.
Have you read this
book? No, I've only read Ender's Game.
So we read Treason aloud to each other over the course of weeks.
So romantic.
And let me tell you, that book is terrible. A few things about the book Treason by Orson Scott Card. I'm not even gonna tiptoe around this issue.
Just go straight to it.
Promotes genocide. Says that, in the story a genocide is committed, and it's like, yeah, totally good. The hero commits it.
Yikes.
And it's like, yes, please do that. So in Ender's Game there's also a genocide, but it's like, we didn't mean to do that.
Genocide is
terrible.
bad.
Genocide's bad. Not in Treason. Genocide is great. Second problem, these are only like the biggest problems. There are lots of problems with this book. Second problem, at one point, the male lead leaves a love interest to go off on his journey, and she kind of freezes in time with a tear rolling down her cheek. And he goes off and commits the genocide. That's his big adventure.
Wait, she literally has a tear?
Yes, she's frozen in time.
That's not a metaphor.
No, she is frozen in time. And then he goes off and commits the genocide.
Okay.
And then he comes back, and she is still there, and the tear is like just reaching her chin. So it's like, and then she can wake up and be with him. So it's like this really gross male fantasy of like a woman being nothing when you go off and do your important thing. That she exists solely for your pleasure and like has nothing else going on. That she is literally standing there for like years. She's gone committing this genocide. This is the book that my boyfriend and I read aloud to each other and bonded over. And that's my story.
Wait, what stage of your relationship was this in?
How long? We had been dating for like a month.
Oh, a month. So
it was early. It was early in our relationship.
Well, what a great way to vet this young man.
Oh yes, we were on the same page about how terrible this book was. That was the joy of it, was reading it aloud and being like, can you believe this?
That's a wrap, folks, because it's the end of BookTubeAthon 2017.
Went by so fast.
Tears freezing
down our face.
Because honestly, like when BookTubeAthon isn't happening, I cease existing.
So do I. I don't know what happened.
Well, thank you guys so much. Words, they're in my mouth somewhere. I have been so excited to be a part of this, my first year at BookTubeAthon. Thank you to Rachel for teaching me so much.
I'm so glad that Bree started making videos. They're so fun to watch.
Oh, thank you. Enjoy, everyone. Go read 1,000,000 books. Until next year. Oh, we should pose, like...
For the thumbnail?
The thumbnail, yeah. Are we looking over our glasses?
I don't know.